Hey, welcome to NBA Today, where we are live from Oklahoma City. She is our do-it-all analyst and my ponytail twin, Andrea Carter. We invited Brian to join the club.
Where's your ponytail? I need a little bit more lead time.
Okay, a little bit more lead time, and Brian will be joining us. Brian Windhorst, our senior writer here. Brian, there are very few places like Oklahoma City, especially in the postseason. We are back here after a several-year delay. Can you just set the stage for us of what tonight is going to be like?
In the July 4th weekend in the middle, home court advantage, a chance to try to get back to the NBA Finals for the first time in over a decade. And then the Timberwolves. They were here last year, and they weren't ready for it. They beat the Nuggets in that home court advantage, a chance to try to get back to the NBA Finals for the first time in over a decade. And then the Timberwolves. They were here last year, and they weren't ready for it. They beat the Nuggets in that incredible Game 7. They came into Game 1, and they were overwhelmed. Immediately, it was clear the Mavericks had the advantage. They were playing from behind. They have worked so hard over the last 365 days to get back here, to have a better mindset, to have a better rest. They've done it, so here they are with a chance to rewrite their history for them.
And in some ways, the script has been flipped here for the Timberwolves. Last year, they were the ones coming off of a grueling 7-game series. Now they have the rest versus the rust sort of scenario that they're going to be weighing here. Before we look ahead to what we can see tonight, let's just remember how we got here. The Thunder and the Wolves, they have met 4 times this season. They split those meetings 2-2. Here's the caveat, though. Both Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, they only played in Game 1. We're going to show you the highlights right now of what exactly this looked like during the regular season, taking it back to how those games shook out. The story of this Game 1, this is New Year's Eve. This is the SGA game. He finished 2024, 40 points, 15 of 23 shooting against Minnesota. The other story, OKC turned the Wolves over 24 times, 16 steals, Brian.
Can't happen. If that happens again tonight, it's going to be a blowout again.
You do not want that. February 13th, remember, this is without Julius Randle or Rudy Gobert. Naz Reid stepped up big time.
Naz Reid's been huge. This is why he has won 6th Man of the Year. This is why people were getting Naz Reid tattoos. His ability to put points on the board. He'll be doing it off the bench in this series. He could be a big spark.
27, 14, and 7 for Naz Reid. More on him in just a little bit in that game. To February 23rd we go. This is where SGA tallied 37 points for the Thunder in the win. He led an 18-4 run in the 4th to take the lead that OKC would never look back from. So OKC wins Game 3 of this season series, which brings us to one of the best comebacks we saw in the regular season. We're going to pick this one up. The Timberwolves have been down by a 25 in this one, but Anthony Edwards, a huge block there on SGA. Just a huge clutch defensive play. Here's Anthony Edwards on that block.
Oh yeah, when I blocked it, I was definitely talking a lot of trash, for sure.
And that's what we love about Anthony Edwards, right? They get the win in this one, come back from down 25 thanks to his clutch play in the 4th and overtime. But that was the past. This is now. These two teams, they know each other very well here, Brian. Game 1, what are you expecting?
Okay, so I want to take you back to that last game that they played here, February 24th.
Yeah.
Thunder up 25. Game's in the bag, right? Chris Finch, the Wolves head coach, is like, you know what? I'm going to try something. The 4th quarter of that game, he goes to a 2-1-2 zone. Some would call it a triangle and 2, to force the ball out of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's hands repeatedly, as we just saw here. Guess what? The Thunder, look at this, here he goes again. The Thunder did not react to this well. All of a sudden, the Wolves get going. What I want you to remember is, not in the first quarter on the first possession, guys. Remember how the zone, the trap on the zone, affected Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Right.
I would not be surprised to see the Wolves come back to that, especially late in Game 1 if they need it.
But the Nuggets ran more zone against the Thunder last series than any series over the last 12 years that we've seen. So now the Thunder has seen a whole lot of that. What are you watching here?
You know, it's interesting. You were talking about Minnesota's defense and what they're going to do against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. For me, in Game 1, my eyes are on Oklahoma City's defense. I mean, you talk about the Nuggets series, and what did Oklahoma City do so well in Game 7? It's not just that they forced 23 turnovers. They scored 37 points off of those turnovers.
Stunning stat.
That's incredible. This Oklahoma City defense, they're coming off of a Game 7. They could be a little tired. Who knows if the shots are going to be there, but what can you count on defensively from the Oklahoma City Thunder? Them to be all out, they're going to be connected, and they're going to get offense from their defense. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, certainly something that you can always rely on is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He is the MVP favorite for a reason here. You look at teams with 20 or more turnovers in these playoffs where the Timberwolves are, all other teams combined are here when you look at those numbers. But Chris Finch, he is keying in on SGA. Let's take a listen together to what he had to say about the Thunder superstar here.
It's so frustrating to play this team because they foul a ton. You know, they really do. They foul all the time. And then, you know, you can't really touch Shea. And it's a very frustrating thing, and it takes a lot of mental toughness to try to play through it.
Okay, so SGA, he led the league in scoring. He's coming in at 4th in free throw attempts per game at just over 8. What makes him such a lethal scorer? Because we just heard Chris Finch talking about how much sometimes he looks for those fouls, and he's very, very shrewd at that.
He's so crafty with the ball. And I try to put myself in the mind of the defender, and I would be so frustrated because of the way he changes speeds, right? He lifts you, you're coming down, you can't do anything about it. You talked about he led the league in scoring. He was 3rd in the league in and-ones. Now look at the space he has to operate one-on-one against Jamal Murray. He gives the bump. Now, this might not look like a foul, but watch Jamal Murray's body go into Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's the way he keeps his eyes on the rim and finishes plays through contact. Again, Alex Caruso is going to clear out. What does that give SGA? Room in the paint to operate an attack. There's a little ball fake there to shift the defense, and this is what happens. He lifts the defense up, you try to go for the shot fake to block it, and you end up fouling him. What does he do great? And one, he finishes those plays. It makes him so tough to guard.
Yeah, and I think one of the things about the Oklahoma City offense is they're so in tune with where to go, let Shai go to operate. He knows exactly where he needs to go. They know where to move. They've got 10,000 hours together, and you're going to see it in the way they play together in a game like this.
And what I love about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of my favorite interviews, remember when he was like, my whole life is consistent. Yeah. Right? That was like one of the biggest things.
In everything I do.
My favorite thing, but he has been consistent. 8.8 free throw attempts in the regular season, 8.7 free throw attempts in the postseason. That's been a part of his game all season long.
Certainly, this is when we get to this point in the playoffs, the stars need to shine the brightest. That's the SGA side of this equation. But you know, Andrea, that Anthony Edwards has been waiting for this moment, as Brian said, for a year to avenge what his Timberwolves did last season. What are you seeing from him? How's he getting it done?
Well, you know, in honor of our Chiney Ogwumike, what does she always say, right? She always punches her arm, says styles make fights, right? So SGA gets 3 points the old-fashioned way with his and-ones, right? Anthony Edwards has gotten threes from the three-point line. The way that Anthony Edwards has been able to knock down threes, when you talk about him being 2nd in total threes in the playoffs, shot 44% in the Warriors series from beyond the arc. He has been lights out from the three-point line, but he sets it up with his athleticism. That's what makes him so tough to guard, because he can get downhill. So watch this. Rudy Gobert rolls to the basket. That's going to draw Santos in when it comes to the help side. Now, Santos is supposed to be at the level of the screen, but he's not. So Anthony Edwards has space to get downhill. You've got to give him space because he can attack him. What does he do? Stops on a dime, elevates straight up, and knocks down the three. Again, with efficiency at 44% in this Warriors series. Now, this is just a one-on-one play. It's the athleticism from the jab that sets it up. He creates the space with the step back, goes straight up and down, and dart in your face, in your eye. Would be so frustrating as a defender. So it's within the flow of the offense, but it's also one-on-one. He uses his athleticism to set up his three-pointers.
Yeah, and watch the different defenders that they're going to use, the Thunder are going to use on him. They're going to rotate guys on him. But the one thing
Dort starts on him?
I think Dort would start on him, but you will see different sides. You'll see Alex Caruso maybe. Here's the thing about Ant. We have a body of work for him in the postseason now. We've seen him routinely every series have a dominant game scoring. He can do it different ways. He can distribute. Sometimes he's a ball mover, but it wouldn't surprise me if he comes out tonight feeling the moment and tries to put up a giant number. If he senses a little bit of fatigue on the Thunder, he senses a little bit of an opening. He has done this repeatedly. In every series, he's had a transcending game. Maybe that happens right out of the gate.
And coming out for that 7-game series for the Oklahoma City Thunder, that's something that Anthony Edwards is going to be sniffing out. Hey, if you are looking for more breakdown analysis, you can tune in to the NBA Western Conference Finals Insight Cast, presented by YouTube on ESPN2. Our guy Ryan Rucco, you bet he will be there. Tim Legler, Kirk Goldsberry will cover the game with unlimited replay angles, live data tracking, plus Kirk's shot bot. Legs is going to break down the action from a player's perspective on the court using immersive technology available for games 1 through 4. That's going to be really interesting insight to tune into, so make sure you do that. Coming up here on NBA Today, we've been west, so let's head to the Eastern Conference. The Knicks, they just spoke ahead of their game 1 tomorrow against the Indiana Pacers. Windy, he tells us one key to winning that series. And we get an all-access look inside the Wolves preparing for tonight's game 1. Hear what their mindset is on stopping this Thunder offense. Plus, speaking of high-octane offense, we tell you why SGA and Ant, they are head-to-head matchup. It'll be one for the ages. We're live in Oklahoma City, and we will be right back.